Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the 546th edition of the Drunk Dash Nerds podcast. I'm your host as always, I am Tyler, and join me, we have the man, the myth, the legend himself, Sir Colonel Gables. What's up, buddy?
Yeah, dude, I'm doing fine. Oh man, after this last week of work, I have pretty much just kind of tuned out a lot of different things. But I'm just focused upon just having some relaxation, playing some more games. Probably get back to playing a couple of different games to start this past week. But man, other than that, I'm feeling pretty good. How about yourself?
I'm doing all right. I screwed up, so we're doing this for people watching or listening later. We're doing the intro again. I realized a few minutes in that I forgot to hit the record button for the video part, so my bad. But no, I'm doing all right. We just mentioned weather's getting nicer outside, so it's been I know weather like the most annoying thing to talk about on podcasting, but it matters to me, god damn it. I'm feeling a lot better. Out there with it's been getting nicer out, so I've been taking my dog on a lot more WLKs every night before bed. On the work, especially on the weeknights, trying to take him on a nice little, not a long one, but we have like a nice little square in the middle of my apartment complex I'm on. So I take him on a nice little one of those, a good little 5-minute walkabout, and been enjoying all that. So it makes I think because I'm definitely in the negative on the walks, so it's good to I'm trying to make up for those because last couple of years with work being pretty crazy, I haven't been able to give a lot of those, especially when 6 months out of the year it's terrible outside. So
Well, yeah.
but yeah, enjoying all that. But Gables, we got some important news to talk about before we even get to the video games. I don't know.
What's up?
If you've seen the news, I'm assuming you have. It's everywhere. Taylor Swift is single.
Why did I know this is gonna come up in the show?
Because Gables,
Well, it's funny. Dude, it's funny when I scroll on the Twitter and all of a sudden I see you post that little article and stuff. And the thing about it, the first thought that pops in my mind is this is going to be something that's going to be talked about. And sure as hell.
What, did you not like my GIF?
Oh my god, that was funny.
Obi-Wan, hello there. So, Joe, they've been together almost 7 years now. People don't know. If you've listened for a long time, you know I'm a big Swiftie. I've been there for a while. Since Red, wasn't a big fan of the country Taylor. I'm like Red on. I'm a major fan of. And so like I said, Joe and her have been together for almost 7 years. And hey, he's an actor. He's done pretty well for himself. I actually watched. I didn't realize. I know of him. I didn't realize who she was dating this whole time until today when I saw a picture of them together. I watched a show last year he was in. It's like a British show. It was actually pretty good. I can't remember what it's called. But I you see a lot of him in the nude in that show, and I could see why she dated him. I'm sure he's a nice guy as well, but I've seen the bits and the bobs and everything like that. I'm like, I date that too. But Gables, we gotta get down to the brass tacks here.
Okay.
At what point do I make my move? I don't know why he's laughing at me. He's choking now.
At what point do you make your move?
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus Christ, dude.
I'm trying to be considerate. It's a 7-year relationship. I'm not saying I'm going to go out there and make a move today, but like a month, 2 months, 3 months.
Maybe make it about 7 weeks.
7 weeks. Only one week for almost every year. That we're thinking here. That's actually a pretty decent policy.
There you go.
Now it's like
for as long as somebody's been around with each other or something, you just put that in the number of weeks.
Oh, that's a good idea.
If it's like 10 years, put about 10 weeks.
All right, that sounds fair. Huh? Okay. Because I'm not saying I got a good shot here, but it's it's like Dumb and Dumber, 1 in a million. So you're saying there's a chance. That's all I need. Because look at me here.
You just want to shoot. You just want to shoot
your
shot.
Shoot my shot. I'm just like You know, am I gonna be Steph Curry from the logo, or am I gonna be Shaquille O'Neal from the free throw line? Who knows? Um, Probably closer to Shaquille O'Neal from the free throw line. You know, like I mean, uh, I'm like Forrest Gump, but like from the look department where he's like, I'm not a smart man, but I know what love is. I'm not a good looking guy. I'm from Iowa. I'm like an Iowa 5, 6 if I work really hard at it, you know. Um, but hey, like I said, just gotta shoot your shot. So then it's like I gotta fit. And now I'm like, how do I get to the point where I can shoot my shot? You know, like I don't want to be the creepy guy in the DMs. Like, I'm sure her DMs are full right now. You know, it's like at what
If she actually has them open
that's true. It's a
to
good.
begin with.
I didn't even think about that, Gables. This is a whole nerd. Oh boy,
Well, think about it. If you have so many horny, desperate men that just want to go forth and try to hit on that, of
and
course you're
women.
gonna have your DMs
Yeah,
shut. And women,
yeah,
yeah, I'm not gonna say
yeah.
like that's an impossibility,
No,
but
I'm sure there's a lot
still.
of women out there that would that shoot the shot too. No, I don't blame them.
Hmm.
Fuck. Yeah, this is a whole nother hurdle here I gotta go through. I didn't even think about Gables. Shit.
Well, it could be. I could see this romantic setting just play out perfectly,
Okay.
dude. All you need to do is just go to like a child space event, just have some Mario Kart playing right there, just invite her to
Okay.
that, and then all of a sudden it's like, hey, let's meet some kids in Mario Kart.
There we go. Oh my God, yes. I impress her with my ability to destroy children in Nintendo games. It's my one superpower. Think Gables is like my love guru. You're my Hitch. I am Kevin James, and you are my Will Smith.
Oh Jesus.
That is
Oh, could you just imagine? Could you just imagine just like going through just that double team with you and Taylor Swift or something like that, going through Mario Kart
Gables.
and just her just like ramming into fucking kids like off the road and you're just tail behind with a fucking red turtle shell.
I mean, Gables, you just asked me if I ever thought about me and Taylor Swift double teaming, and the answer is many times.
Oh, oh god, dude. Uh, combination of me laughing and this damn cold just sucks.
Yeah.
But
You
still.
should see he was teabagging earlier. It was a great time. Um, Man, yeah, I don't know. Like, I don't know if she'd be impressed by my ability of making children cry in Nintendo games or not. It might be a turnoff. I don't know. Maybe she's like, you should let them win, you know. But I don't know. Like, I like
Well, you could just say that it's kind of like an even kilter thing because you have that one day of the year where you raise money for kids.
that is true. That's a good point. That's a good point. Unless it's like, hmm,
It's like a morally like kind of off balancing thing, you know? I mean, you raise money like every year through Extra Life and stuff to help kids, and then you simultaneously tear down their confidence and everything else and suddenly
yeah,
beat the
it's like,
shit out of
hey,
them in Mario Kart.
hey, hey, little guy, this sucks right now. I just want you to carry this feeling for the rest of your fucking life. It's a good idea. It's like, you know this miserable feeling you feel right now? This is your 30s, you little bitch. Hopefully she never sees this because I feel like this is going to destroy any chance I have. I might have to like
Oh,
delete this podcast after like if once the
dude.
first date
If
happens.
anything, this is if anything or something like that, we're gonna look on this video probably the next couple of years or something like that, or next 5 years ahead, and just look back like, hey, remember that time you tried to get Taylor Swift? Like, yeah, we got ratioed to shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did.
Oh my god, I didn't even think about that. The Swifties will be big mad at me. And I'm a Swifty, and they're gonna be mad at me. But you sons of bitches, if you come at me, don't act like you weren't thinking the same fucking thing. All right. But if while you're here, hit that thumbs up button. We really appreciate it.
Oh yeah.
Hit the 5 stars. Before you send me the angry, abusive message or report me or whatever, at least click the like button. At least give me that 5-star review. At least leave a nice little
Let's give a
comment.
comment.
You know,
Just at least get like the common courtesy. Just give us a little
yeah,
thumbs up or something like
a little
that.
tap through. While you're pissed off at me, hit that like button over there by Gables Junk, because it'll make him feel good about himself at least before you destroy me. All right. And what little self confidence I have left in me at this point in my mid-30s.
Oh jeez.
You know, fun fact, Gables. Taylor Swift and I, both born in 1989.
Well, that's true
My
too.
birthday's May 7th. Hers is December 13th. Just saying.
There you go, man. Pretty close.
I mean, it's like a match made in heaven here. You know. She plays
Oh boy.
fantastic music, fills out stadiums 3 days in a row. all over the world. I do a podcast on YouTube.
While simultaneously destroying kids in Mario
While
Kart. It's just
simultaneously making children cry in Mario Kart. Yes, I was gonna leave that part out because I was hoping that wouldn't get clipped and she would see it. Um, this is the stupidest thing we've ever done.
it's probably one of the most amazing things we've ever
True.
done.
Also, but man, if I ever get this would be the of all the things that like get people mad at me, this would be it.
Impressed with your skills of just dangling that banana peel right behind just before they try to cross
Oh
your
my god,
path.
yeah. I'm like first date. I'm like the key is that if you want to really make them cry, you put the banana. You hold the L button down, and it holds the banana behind you. So when they shoot the red shell, you block it.
Now you see, man, I wouldn't explain every single thing on the controller. Don't do like a Greg Miller moment. You're trying to explain how to play fucking Madden or something on the PS2 controller to your date.
It's a good point. It's a good point. Yeah, I don't want to mansplain you. I imagine she's really good at Mario Kart. If there's one game she plays, it's probably Mario Kart. She's on a tour bus. Probably ain't much to do, you know. Imagine she's gonna
Dude,
switch. What if she's got a Steam
dude,
Deck, dog? That might be a little too much for me. That might be like, I don't know if this will work
that'll
out.
blow your mind.
I don't know if it'll work out. I'm like, I don't know about this. That's too weird.
I don't know what's more impressive. Like you just actually thinking forefront ahead. Like what if she's actually one of the bigger gamers than I am, or two and stuff? It's like, oh man, one of the things like two, just me just trying to dive deep inside of old obscure podcast beyond references. I mean, Jesus Christ,
Gables,
dude.
what if she like starts giving me Elden Ring tips?
Not impossible,
She
Tyler,
just starts telling me get
but
good. Like what the fuck? Oh man.
in order to advance to the state, you must beat this boss right here in this specific amount of time.
Oh man. I feel like dating Taylor Swift would just be like the Elden Ring of video games. First date would just be millennia. Oh man. Now I didn't even think Gables, I'm getting anxiety now just thinking about this. Like, man, how would you even impress this woman? The woman that has everything, you know? Makes more she's made more since this podcast started than I made in my entire life.
Uh, Probably like maybe one day at a time, maybe like just do your own thing. And then at the same time, it's like whatever just feels
Good
natural.
point. It's a good point. Point. Maybe she'll like my multiple shelves of nerdiness here. Maybe she's a bigger Reggie Fils-Aimé fan than I am. I don't know where this podcast is going, Gables. This is a video game podcast where every week we get together and talk about video games.
Well, to be fair, we were talking somewhat about
Yeah, it's
video
true.
games.
We were like, yeah. At first we thought, how do we integrate my video gaming into us dating? Into like, maybe she's a bigger gamer than I am. I don't know. Gables, you didn't. I bet she does have a Steam Deck. She's probably played Elden Ring. I mean, the game works really well on Steam
I'm not
Deck.
gonna say she wouldn't play Elden Ring. I mean, come on. I mean, honestly, everybody has the potential to play a bit of Elden Ring if they want to.
Sure, sure.
But yeah, it's like you can't really assume someone's gonna play something or not based upon how they look.
No. If you look at me, you assume I probably beaten Elden Ring 17 times, and I don't even like that game. So that's a good point. That's a very good point, Gables. Justin just responded. Justin is at. I want to point this out. He said Reggie gonna give it away now. Justin, I want to point out.
Tyler's gonna fight like a brave in this fucking Taylor Swift relationship.
Why are we quoting Red Hot Chili Peppers during my Taylor Swift? Oh my god, I'm getting mad now. I want to point out Justin took time to respond to our live YouTube podcast while at US Bank Stadium in Minnesota at a Red Hot Chili Peppers concert.
Well, this definitely isn't under the bridge.
I hate this podcast. I hate everything about this. Why are we quoting? We should be quoting Taylor Swift instead. What the fuck are we doing?
Instead, we're on the other side. Oh my god. Okay, this was fun. Now let's get into some news.
I'm glad you amused yourself, Gables. This is a video game podcast. Every week we get together, I swear, to talk about video games and not just me trying to date famous people. Um, but before we get into that, please, like I said, top of the show, like, follow, subscribe, tell all your friends about this. If you got any tips on how to help me romantically with Taylor Swift, or even actually, if you could just get me like decently priced tickets to one of her concerts, that would take that too. That would take that as like that'd be a good silver medal there, I would say. Um, maybe I could shoot my shot there. That's kind of maybe that's the worst idea. Like there's that one really shitty movie with Jennifer Lopez and Owen Wilson that came out like on Valentine's Day,
Oh,
the Marry Me, where he has a sign he
God.
holds up and it says Marry Me. I didn't watch it. I saw the trailer for it. Maybe I
Uh,
just do that.
that is some shit, dude.
Maybe that's all she needs. That's maybe how many people are taking signs to Taylor Swift concerts? Probably not that
Probably
many.
dozens.
What?
Probably dozens, dude. They're bringing signs to her concerts.
Dozens out of tens of thousands. Gables.
Yeah.
Out of tens of thousands. I bring one. I hold that sign up. I get floor seats. I sell every body part I have to afford the floor seat. And then they sell them back to me because like this is worthless. What are we gonna do with this? I take that money, buy a floor seat with it. Probably costs $70,000. I don't know. Who knows how money works at this point? Hold it up. Just says "Marry Me." What are you doing, Gables? What are you gonna say? Spit it out.
He just holds up the sign, and all of a sudden, he just says, "I like dirt." Oh my
This is just the
God, dude.
podcast where Gables is here to amuse himself. I'm
This is a
trying
podcast.
to go on a date with Taylor Swift, and he's over here like I don't want to fucking have a joke around. I'm being serious, Gables.
I know you're
I
being
feel like
serious, and
you're not taking me
I'm
seriously
just
at
trying
all.
to be realistic and also having some fun with
You
us.
son of a bitch. Let's get into the fucking podcast. Even though we're fucking 17 minutes in this goddamn fucking joke of a goddamn show. What the fuck are we doing here? This is episode 546 of the Drunk Dasher podcast. I'm Tyler. That's Gables. Let's get into it. Look at the show notes down below. You'll see links to all of our socials: Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Apple, Spotify. 5-star reviews, thumbs up. Just click all those goddamn things. Gables. Not a lot of news going on this week. Kind of a slimmer week of news, but a couple kind of interesting things to get into here. Let's jump into it first off. PlayStation might be having a new handheld coming out next year. And not the way you think, Gables. So this is from Insider Gaming, Tom Henderson. And there's been a few people that have like corroborated this rumor with stuff they've been hearing. So there's a lot more smoke potentially to this fire. Codename Q Lite is what that's the codename of it, Q Lite. It is it's not like a Vita or a PSP in that sense, or like a 3DS. It's actually a streaming device. Does not use the cloud, but instead uses the remote play of PS5. It will stream games at 1080p and 60 frames per second. The new device will require a constant connectivity to the internet. Early prototypes show the console will look a lot like a PS5 controller, so like a DualSense, but with a massive 8-inch LCD screen. So 8 inches is massive, you say? Oh, good to know. I'll let Taylor Swift know that on my first date. Not saying, I'm saying, hey, 8 inches is massive? Wait till you see average. So anyways, the 8-inch LCD touchscreen in the center. The device sports adaptive triggers for haptic feedback and will include what you would come to expect from a handheld: volume buttons, speakers, audio input jack. Hey, it's impressive. Audio input jack. Does DualSense even have an audio input jack? I don't even know. I'll have to go grab mine here in a second. And stuff like that. It is currently in the QA phase and is scheduled to release before the PS5 Pro and the detachable disk drive PS5, which we talked about in the past.
Okay.
So, Gables, how are you feeling about the potential of this non-cloud streaming device that has to be connected to your PS5?
Oh, well, honestly, I kind of feel like that this is definitely something that I don't see why any honest to God person's going to need it. I mean, let's be perfectly honest with ourselves here. This handheld definitely does have some interesting like potential, and from the rumored things that it's supposed to be doing, I mean, okay, remote play with the PS5. I mean, sure, okay. I mean, the PlayStation Vita had remote play with the PS4 and to some extent the PS3, and hardly anybody used that
Yeah,
besides like the ones that really wanted to play something on their handheld with a family member watching the TV. But I'm open to the idea of like Sony doing like another handheld, but at the same point, if it's just going to be a strapped down sort of like accessory to the PS5, I that doesn't sound any more appealing than say having like specific phones like being have like just have being like a major accessory like say to like Microsoft in terms of like a Game Pass usage or with this or that, it's like if I'm gonna be playing games, especially if I'm gonna use something like remote play or something, I'm just gonna have the controller with me in bed and stuff, just play on the TV at that point. But I will say it depends really upon, and I'm trying to think of it of another perspective here. It kind of just depends upon the quality of like hardware that goes into this handheld, really. Like say for example, if the remote play is something that you do away from home, like you're able to play it wirelessly on your PS5 while being out on the road or like do something like that, I mean that would be interesting.
yeah,
I think that would be much more of a more enticing sort of pickup than opposed to having just something that's probably going to be tailored to just the home, maybe not getting a lot of extended usage. But when I think about it, it's like, what type of a price would they expect to actually this thing be worth? I mean, you got to believe that it's got to be at least a couple hundred, if not that, if it's they're gonna put on the market.
yeah, yeah. Um,
I mean, let's look at it this way: it's like they priced the PS5 for about $500. The PSVR 2, that thing is like close to around like the $400 or $500 mark, or even a little bit more so if you want to add some games or anything else to it. But I would probably think that if they were to try to even remotely put something else, it's got to be close to around that price of the PS5. You would think,
well, I mean, if it's just there's no disk drive, there's no internal
right?
memory or SSD or anything like that. You can make it cheaper. Um, yeah, but like it doesn't this doesn't feel like one of those things where it's like we just want to get this in the hands as many people as possible. Like because it's
Right.
not like you can't sell this thing at a loss and make up for the money off of it on software because there's no software to sell
Well,
for
that's
it.
true.
Um, yeah, like I I just don't know who like I know there's people like that like want that like this, but like for like the mass audience, who is this for? Because like I know people like that I talk to that like they play like Xbox Game Pass. There's the
Yeah.
XCloud stuff, um, and you can just like connect through like pretty much anything that's connected to the internet. You just gotta sign into your Xbox account, and boom, there you go. You can play games and wherever. Um, and I know people do that. Like they'll just like play on their laptop, um, while like their kids or their wife or whoever's watching their show. Um,
Yeah.
and I've definitely heard of that. Like or like even like so like the PlayStation with remote play works through like your iPad or your phone, and they
Mm-hmm.
like so there's like these pretty popular controllers. They're called the Backbone that hook up to your phone, like your Android or your iPhone, that
Yeah.
are turned into a controller, and people like play Fortnite through them and stuff like that. Or you can play like any like phone game through them. But there's actually like and they're like $100. And then like last year, PlayStation put out a um, uh, PlayStation version of that, like it was a backbone. Just it looks like more like a dual sense, and it's $100 still, same price as like a regular backbone. Um, and that's just it looks nice, and I heard it's really great, and like people definitely enjoy it. And you could do remote play through your iPhone or whatever, and put your phone in there on the backbone and play your games that way. Um, but like I said, yeah, like you have to be connected to your PS5. This isn't cloud streaming. This isn't anything like that. So I've never done the remote play stuff before. I don't know how. I've heard it's much better than the PS5. I heard the PS4 was fine. I heard like PS3 was not great. The Vita PS4 was a lot better. PS5 I've heard is good, but like if you're somebody that's just out and about and it's like, are you like if you're on on the road somewhere, you're a couple hundred miles away, or you're on an airplane, it's not going to work because you're gonna be connected to like a Wi-Fi, because this is probably isn't going to have 5G through it, um, or anything like that. Like I was like when I first heard about it, I was like okay, like cloud streaming. If I was able to like hook up through my uh, stream it like on the cloud, like I'm on my lunch break at work, because I'm in a truck sitting there with nothing to do, play a game of Madden, or maybe just like I'm playing through a game and I was like I just gotta grind for some material or whatever. Play that, do that shit. That's fucking perfect. But the fact that like it's not that at all. You gotta be connected to, you know, and I guess you can tether through your phone if you wanted to, but I just I just don't know who this is for. What's this gonna do? Like yeah, like I said, the price point is the biggest factor of this. But even if it's say
Right.
it's $200, which not terrible. Um, what a like how great this thing is gonna be. Like I could definitely see it can be like more like you can get like an audience of people that probably like yeah, like I said, like husband or wife or whatever, watching fucking some show you don't care about. Pull out this thing, the Q light, play games while they're doing that. Like not the worst idea in the world. You probably get like a lot of people probably don't know what remote play is or don't really fully understand it. And it's like, hey, this is easy. They just turn it on, connect, sign into your account, boom, hook it up, and you're good to go. Make it just streamline it. Definitely get an audience
Right.
there. But like, I feel like that's like the biggest, like the like the biggest part of the audience you're gonna find is people are just like, I'm on the couch and I want to play games all while my significant other is doing this, or kind of like with the Switch thing where like they're looking at the audience where it's like you give your kid wants to play games, boom, here, give them that. You can play on that while you got the TV so you can watch your shows, or he can play the games in the big screen, or watch TV like they can watch Bluey while you're fucking playing whatever. Like there's definitely I could see that, but I don't know how big that audience is. Um,
It would make better sense to me if it wasn't sort of like a dedicated like handheld like they were doing through these little schematics and like these little like things and stuff. What kind of would make more sense to me is like why couldn't it just be like some sort of like app or something on the phone or something like
well,
that enabled you
and
to
that's
stream
kind
certain
of like
things like
yeah, and
that?
that's kind of what the remote play is. But I would say almost like double down on the cloud streaming.
Right.
And maybe remote play can be that, but like I said, like and just double down on the backbone and like you push it because like the xCloud, like I don't know, like because like that's the thing that they're slowly building towards. Like I don't think this is like doing like a handheld. Like we've heard people talk about in the past. Like Xbox should make a handheld that does xCloud. That'd be perfect. And I'm like, yeah, that sounds fantastic. Like I would love that. Like an xCloud, like that's fairly priced, and I can hook
Right.
up. I can with some sort of like 5G or tethered to my phone kind of thing. I can do it that way with but like I don't have to like be connected to my PS5 or my Xbox One or Xbox Series X or whatever. Like
Right.
that
Right.
could work.
That could work, but at the same time, I mean, how people are doing that with like Xbox right now, it's like they have the Game Pass app, they got like the Microsoft app on their phone.
Yeah,
They have that little shell thing that they have the little controller stuff, or they can actually connect wirelessly with their controller to their phone in order to play these games stuff while they're on like
yeah, with
streaming or
xCloud. Yeah,
wherever and stuff already.
yeah,
Yeah, instead of like a dedicated device.
yeah. I'm not trying to poo-poo the idea because like in theory like it could be good. Like I don't hate
Mm-hmm.
the idea of it. Like I was actually when I first kind of heard about it. I'm like, okay, this would be like yeah, like couple if I 150 $200 for this and like on my lunch
Right.
break I can play like I said like I could play like a game of Madden or something like that and it looks like obviously it's not gonna look as nearly as good as playing on your TV, but like
Well,
if
no.
I can just if it's just like the lag isn't bad and I could just play a decent game or whatever and just grind or do some side quests in the game or play a game of Madden or whatever it is like that sounds awesome. Like I'd love that. Um
Ideally, yes, that would be an awesome
yeah,
time.
I just like I said I don't know I don't know if we're there yet for that. Um, for like
Not
yeah,
consistently.
because like we've seen like the xCloud thing is like it's in beta, like it's the thing we're building towards eventually.
Hmm.
Like we talk about like Google Stadia failing, and what was the big thing before that? That was like um,
On live.
on live. Yeah, like we've been talking about this forever. Where like the idea itself wasn't bad. Like we are going like that is a like the xCloud thing. Like Xbox and Microsoft has been handling it perfectly. We're like this is just another tier that we're like this like the main tier is the consoles and then Game Pass and this is like that eventually this will be our third tier. But this is
Hmm.
just like a thing we're adding into Game Pass that like you can use there, and we're slowly building it up, and we're like it's in beta. We're not making this like the big thing, um, and we're slowly getting there until it's ready. Until you know the world is ready, or at least like the big states, countries, stuff like that play games is ready
Hmm.
for this type of thing, and like then all those games that you own, all those games on Game Pass, you can play it on there. Like all your stuff on the library is there. And like with this thing, I don't hate the idea. Like I said, I don't hate the idea of this. It's just like,
No.
but like putting out like like I said, like the XL thing works great because it's just like literally an app you download onto your phone or
Right.
it's just
Right.
like it's built into your Windows on your computer or your you can get on your iPad or your fucking laptop or whatever, and then boom, you're ready to go. Like you don't really have to do anything. It's got sign into your account. Um, but then this is harder because you're selling a separate device. Like people already have a laptop, already have an iPad, already have a cell phone. It's harder to sell somebody a separate device. It's going to cost
Right.
at minimum probably $200, probably way more expensive, probably probably $300. Um, maybe I think maybe it won't be because they're probably like they hopefully they're smart enough to know like charging you know switch price for this thing probably the smartest idea. Um, yeah, I don't know. Like I'd love it more if there was a way to like let me install my games onto this thing, but I know that would be way more expensive because then you got to talk about an SSD and you're talking about memory sticks or whatever SD cards. Like that's where and then the size of games that makes it impossible. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I hope it works out. I hope it's better than what we think it is. Like I'm not. This is something I'm definitely not rooting for it to fail. Um, but it's the thing I definitely want to be interested in. I just don't see this thing succeeding in any sort of way.
Right.
Yeah. But Gables, something else I don't see succeeding in any sort of way. Sticking with PlayStation here. PSVR 2.
Hmm.
We've been talking about this pretty much for about I mean, really off and on for about the last year or so, but really the last couple months. There's reports out there that they slashed in half what they're planning on making for the first fiscal year because pre-orders are not great for PSVR 2. Uh,
Right.
from reports from Bloomberg, there's some out there that um, Sony has likely only sold about 270,000 units by the
Wow.
end of March. Um, and then IDC's vice president of data analytics, Francisco Geronimo, told Bloomberg, "I suspect a price cut on the PSVR 2 will be needed to avoid a complete disaster of their new product." He also explained consumers around the world are facing rising costs of living, rising interest rates, and increasing layoffs. VR headsets are not a top of the mind for most consumers under the current economic climate. Um, yeah, we talk about this forever now with with VR and in general, where like this is like a very niche uh, audience, and this is
Right.
it's only gotten like the tech has gotten better, but the price has gone up drastically on these things as the tech has gotten better. And I've said over and over again, the PSVR 2 for what it is not overpriced. It's just expensive for what it's expensive for where we are with VR in general. Like, because like I said, like in the world of VR, the Valve headset is like I think $700-800. I think what was there's like I can't remember who makes one that's another like HT. I can't remember what it is. That one's over
HTC or something
HTC.
like
Yeah, it's
that.
like
Like,
$1,500. The the metaverse headset is about the same price as I think it's like $500 or $600. They actually had to raise the
Yeah.
price last year. Um, yeah, so like in the grand scheme of things, this is actually like one of the cheaper models to get out there for like a really good headset. And everybody says the tech of the PSVR 2 is fantastic. The graphics are really good, the controllers are really good, the haptic feedback, everything about it is fantastic. Um, but we see it over and over again, like there's not a huge audience for these things. And on top of that, yeah, like everybody's tightening that belt a little bit on spending. You know, we're all trying to be a little more fiscally responsible right now. I think, or if you're going to spend money, you want to make sure you're getting a nice return on investment. Like, you know, we've seen like consumer spending is up, but it's like people are willing to spend more money on, you know, video games or going on family trips. Like we see like fucking theme parks sales are like spiking right now on spending and shit like that. Like people are going on vacations, people are doing things. Spending is there, but it's like, well, I want to make sure I'm getting something like really good out of this. And it's like dropping $550 on a headset plus tax, and then spending $40 to $60 on some of these games that are mostly ports. The big game is Horizon Call of the Wild, which I've heard is fine, but like everything on this, it just sounds like they're like almost like tech demos type of things. Um,
Kind of like what you would expect from like a experimental platform.
yeah, and it's like we are several years into the into VR. Um, you know, and this is the second PlayStation VR headset. Um, yeah, like we're past the point of like experimental stuff. Like
Yeah.
like you definitely there's a you can have those, but you can't have a launch or like just like your whole system is built around these type of things. Like yeah, like Call of the Wild like being like kind of like, hey, here's a bigger version of like a tech demo, you know, that's fine. But like, okay, we need something on top of that. Like, you know, instead of just like, hey, Gran Turismo 7, we added like a little VR mode here you can do, or, um, you know, Resident Evil 8 Village, like that's like maybe one of the bigger things, but like, fortunately, the game is 2 years old at this point. Um, yeah, we talked about this well before this thing launched. Like, this is like one of those things where it's like, you know, I don't want to be the guy like I told you so, but like this is the thing we've been saying forever. I think everybody in, you know, like I don't like it's like I don't look like as much like the the handheld thing. Like I'm not rooting for that thing to fail. Like you know, there's people that spent a lot of money on this thing. I want them to be happy about this. Like I bought a PSVR. It's been sitting in the goddamn closet for years now. Like it's not for me thing. Like I'm not looking, even if I was able to afford this type of thing, it's not something I would run out and spend money on at all. Um, but I don't even know like what if you drop the price down, you know, like what are we looking at here? Like what can like a drastic sales drop here can make it a lot more conceivable for people to jump in. And then
Mm.
like people that like they're like you get people that are on the fence. Yeah, they might jump in if it's say it's $400. But people that are like they're already not interested. Are they like what like I don't know. It's just, this whole thing baffles me where it's like this thing came out. There's no people always talk about the launch games, but the big thing we was like I feel like we should talk about is that launch window. Like what is
Yep.
your plan? You know, we talk about like going to these new consoles where it's like the PS5 and the Xbox Series X. Those things came out and we saw multiple years of like those big games. Like here's what's coming in that launch. Here's what's coming in 2021. Here's what's coming in 2022. At least with PlayStation, I guess Xbox. We're still waiting a lot of those games. But PlayStation, you know, we saw that. We're like, hey, Spider-Man Miles Morales, Demon Souls, Sackboy Big Adventure at launch. Bam, here you go. 2021. What the fuck did we wait? Ghostwire Tokyo, Deathloop. Um, I am spacing on some other shit. I know there's other big games in there that came out. But then like 2022, like Horizon was supposed to be 2021, got delayed. God of War was
Right.
last year. Like we saw that launch with Switch, Breath of the Wild at launch, Mario Kart 8 in April, fucking Arms
Yep.
in June, Splatoon 2 in July, uh, Mario plus Rabbids in August, um, fucking Mario Odyssey in November or October, that type of shit. Um, you know, like that launch window. And it's like this thing came out, and so haven't heard shit about this fucking thing. I, this is one of those things where I feel like it just kind of it's coming. It's just like it's set out, like we just set it out the pasture type of thing. I hope to be
Right.
wrong, but I don't know. I mean, Gables, do you think there's any chance of this thing actually maybe not being saved and turned around being this huge success, but just being not looked at like another Vita or PSP?
In order for it to do that, then there needs to be a colossal price cut upon that stuff. I mean, the thing that would entice a lot of people that are on the fence maybe to get a Vita, I mean, a PSVR 2 would be one, a big price cut, and two, a bundling of some of the best games for the launch of that platform all automatically day one. So having Horizon as part of a
There is
bundle
a
and then
bundle for that comes
alongside.
with everything, like but it's
Right.
$600. So
Yeah, we're talking about maybe having that bundle and maybe add a couple more games to that thing, like say, I don't know, maybe Moss Book 1 and 2
yeah,
or something like that, or some other like noteworthy launch title games for the VR2, and then instead of making it have like what 400 or 600 and stuff, how about be like about 2 or 300 or something
I
like
don't.
that.
I think
And
that's. I mean, I think we're looking at best case scenario $400
best case scenarios, you're thinking $400?
full price
Well,
shop.
I'll tell you this, man. If it's going to remain $400 for them, I mean, that's going to be a definitely hard sell, especially when you don't have like more than like maybe one game they want to play at launch. I
Mm.
mean, but that's just kind of a personal thing that I think of is like when you're a consumer from the outside looking in and stuff, and you're looking at something that wants to convince you to get over that hurdle for you to want to buy like a particular electronics. Well, especially for VR2, for that PSVR 2, what would entice people is maybe be close to about that 350 to about 370 kind of price range for that on top of not only having access to a couple of launch title games. It doesn't necessarily have to be Horizon per se, but it has to be a group of games that for frontal that will be best representative of your experience in PSVR 2. By having that, I feel like that it will definitely potentially have that possibility of getting more people wanting to get invested in the PSVR 2. But that's the best case scenario I could think of potentially for making it more maybe palatable for people. Not necessarily save the system outright, because in order to save a system outright, you need to have more than just like a year and a half worth of effort
Mm.
inside of a launch
I
lineup.
mean, we're like a month and a half into this thing, and yeah,
Yeah, and it's already kind
yeah,
of like dragging with
yeah. I
sales.
mean, we're a month and a half out for this thing coming out, and we're like, is this thing just gonna come out and die? Uh, so yeah,
But that's on the fault of Sony not really advertising it balls to the
yeah.
wall like it had been for other products.
I mean, this is like I think a lot of people have like wondered like, was this like, did they know this thing was just like they started building this thing and they thought VR was bigger than what it was, or it was big when they started building this. Like VR was way bigger at that point. I mean, the PS4 was extremely successful, sold over 5 million units. I think it's still the highest selling PS, our biggest VR unit sold yet is the original PSVR.
Because it was a cheap entry point
Cheap entry point,
to that.
and actually has a pretty decent, solid library of games. Not a lot, but I mean, for what it was and the price point it was at, it wasn't like there's enough out there to kind of keep you coming back to it. Um, then they go, well, we got to take this thing seriously, and here they are, and it's like unfortunately, it's like you don't even have the games that came out in the previous console um, out there they could play, like or even port it over, or like I can, like they give me the option to even rebuy some of those games, or like put Iron Man VR on there, put fucking the Batman Arkham game on there, shit like that. I know some of those aren't first party, but like make it so like spend a little bit of money to like, you know, like have those like pay those guys like, hey, can you like port these over to this thing? At least put it out for $15, whatever to um just entice people to buy this thing. Um, yeah, like I said, I think Justin bought the PSVR 2, and I don't know how much he's getting out of it, but I hope he's enjoying it for what it is. I hope he doesn't regret it, but I hope no one regrets it. But I look at this thing, and it's just like, I mean, like it's just been crickets since that thing fucking came out. It's just like going into it, there's crickets, and coming out of it, there's been crickets, and it's like,
Hmm.
I don't know. I feel like this state of play is gonna happen, and if there's not like at least one, I'm not even like, I'm like more than just like, hey, here's like that sizzle reel of like 6 games being ported to the PSVR 2. I'm talking about like at least just get like one like bigger game on there, like an Astrobot or fucking something from your first party studios, like a Fire Sprite game, something like, or like even like the London studios had like the some of those like little mini game things in there, like something like that at least to like give you something to look forward to, like you
Right.
can do to like keep playing this thing. Yeah, because after you bought this thing and you play Moss 1 and 2 and Call of the Wild, like don't really know what else is there to play other than like here's a like a shooter game where like they're all the same. Like um, I don't know. I don't know. It sucks. But Gables, let's get into some other news this week
Hmm.
here, buddy. Um, there's some fun news though. Here's some non-PlayStation news.
Okay.
Pokemon Stadium coming to NSO in April, April 12th,
Yeah.
the day before your birthday, if I'm not mistaken.
I know, right?
So
That was a welcome surprise.
yeah,
I mean, with Pokemon Stadium coming to the 64, it's actually going to be the first time, and I want to say like close to good solid maybe 10, 12 years since I've actually played the original Pokemon Stadium.
just play for the mini
But
games though, really. I mean,
well, the mini games were definitely a good portion of it, and quite honestly, I kept the sequel to Pokemon Stadium 2 because that I thought the Stadium 2 was better than the original Stadium in some aspects, so that's why I kept that over the original. But when it comes to this port coming onto the Switch is Nintendo Switch Online, they did put out the little blurb inside of a clip while showcasing it saying it's not
yeah,
compatible with the Game Boy, like not compatible with the Game Boy stuff.
that's
That
embarrassing.
that's the biggest negative of the entire thing from a personal standpoint. But the reason why it's kind of disappointing is because in the original games, you had access to transfer the Pokemon that you had played on the Game Boy to your system via transfer pack.
Mm-hmm.
You were able to transfer them, register your team, and that's what you would use to participate throughout those little Pokemon tournaments, the Poke Cup, the Stadium Cup, like the Little Cup and stuff. Basically, when you're doing the Little Cup, it's from levels 1 to I think 19 or something like that. But this game was pretty fun. But I will say this though, when you're using like rental Pokemon,
No,
oh god, the rental Pokemon are abysmal. I mean, you do not want to use them because they have some of the most horrible move types or like move selections or something like that. However, it would be an interesting challenge to it would actually be an interesting challenge because you would have access to save states now to go into that knowing full well, okay, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to have this type of team registered. I'm going to see how well this does. And you want to know what's funny? Inside of Pokemon Stadium, there is an achievement by beating beating the game and like registering, going through their whole gym challenge and stuff like that and beating the Elite Four champion and like Mewtwo and stuff. I think with every single Pokemon
huh?
in that Gen 1, so all 151 Pokemon. So quintessentially what that would mean is you would pretty much have one superpowered Pokemon and then all the rest would probably just be like side things that you would never use.
Okay,
But that was just one achievement thing that always popped out that was fairly funny. Like you could have a Magikarp on your team and it'd be outside here champions.
that's funny. I just remember
I know,
playing
right?
that game as a kid, renting it, and even as a kid, like being the hardest to core Pokemon fans, I'm like, this game isn't very fun. Just playing the mini games over and over again because like I didn't have renting it. You didn't have access to the part
That's the thing, man.
you can hook up your Game Boy game too. So
Some of the biggest fun of playing the Pokemon Stadium games on 64 was having the Pokemon that you had trained through the Game Boy games put on there so that way you could steamroll through the other challengers inside of each cup. That was the biggest
yeah,
appeal.
I remember like
I'm, yeah.
remember like Justin, my best friend, having it as a kid. which is weird because he wasn't even like a big Pokemon fan, but like him having it, he actually owned it and he had like the little adapter and playing the Game Boy like Pokemon Yellow on his TV
Yep.
and like that was
Yep.
the only thing I wanted for. Is like I just wanted to play. Like, I'm like, oh my god, I could play Pokemon on my 19-inch TV screen. Oh my god. Um, yeah.
But here's a fun fact, though that transfer pack super sensitive to disconnection. I mean, you wouldn't even have to. You basically, if you looked at it wrong, it would give you a disconnection error.
Well,
I mean, for God's sakes, I remember distinctly being so pissed off as like a 10 or 11-year-old kid having Pokemon Stadium, have my copy of Pokemon Red or Pokemon Blue inside this damn thing, put it inside the back of the controller, and then as soon as I start up the thing, it's like, oh, your thing's disconnected. Oh, okay. Okay, how okay, I finally get it working, I'm playing the Game Boy thing portion, all of a sudden it's like, yeah, your thing's disconnected. God dang it.
well, Gables. Luckily for me, I have autism issues, OCD issues, and ADHD issues where I have to save
Uh-huh.
every 12 seconds. So back then, totally been fine. I had no issues. I would the thing
Oh yeah, for
could
you it would have
disconnect
been
for me 18
yeah.
fucking every 18 times a minute. I wouldn't have lost a goddamn second of gameplay. Um, Taylor Swift, if you're watching, I have none of those issues. I'm totally fine. What's up? Uh, Gables, moving on. Quantum
Okay.
Break is leaving Game Pass. Kind of a bigger news story because this was like a first party game that they paid for. Microsoft did come out and say though the reason Quantum Break is leaving. If people don't remember, this is like the actually a lot better game than it like didn't get enough credit. I think it came out in 2015. I want to say as well. Like it was supposed to be like a TV show and it just turned into like the TV show got scrapped and just turned like converted it into a video game. Um, Actually a really good game that came out back then. Just kind of was like the early Xbox One days, and just no one played it. Um, but they announced that the reason it's leaving is because there's like a licensing issue, and then they'll be back
Mm.
once they fix it. We've seen this in the past, like all the Metal Gear games got pulled, and still haven't come back yet for
Yeah.
stuff like because they have like news reports in the game. So I won't be shocked because like maybe that's something to do with that. But hopefully it's not gone too long. And when it does come back, hope it gives a nice little stretch of people to come back to it. Because especially because I was Lance Reddick was in that game as well. So
Yeah, he was.
yeah, so I hope that maybe with that game being gone for maybe even if it's a couple weeks or a couple months or whatever, come back, they announce it, maybe give a little more buzz to it, and maybe a little more people will try it out because that game did not get the flowers it deserved because I bought that game at launch. Actually, I think it was like one of the first games I bought my Xbox One when that game first came out, and that
Mm-hmm.
game was awesome. But moving on here, Gables Miyamoto teased the next Mario game might be announced at a Nintendo Direct.
Ah, you know what? Having gone through and looked at the interviewing thing and stuff and the questions that were asked, basically he didn't confirm it would be at the next Nintendo Direct,
No,
but he did say that keep looking forward to future
yeah,
Nintendo
I just
Directs.
loved it though, and it's just like, well, no fucking shit, Miyamoto. Like, where else would it be announced at?
No, I think was the no shit thing was not only with just with him saying it though, but how many people misinterpreted that response. It's like, oh, it's gonna be inside of a Nintendo
Yeah,
Direct.
I think
It's like,
people just kind of read the thing they wanted to there instead of the thing that
yeah.
was actually said. Uh, yeah, but yeah, pretty funny. Also pretty funny. There's a live action Street Fighter movie being made. Legendary Studios has got the rights to make the next Street Fighter game. Gables, if John Claude Van Damme is in this movie, what are we even doing?
Oh
Honestly, if
boy.
they just re-released that movie over again, I would be incredibly
Oh
excited.
God. Oh God, I have so many bad memories of like bad Street Fighter
That
movies.
movie is
But
fantastic, and I will hear no
dude,
complaints.
that movie, Street Fighter 2, that movie alongside of like the Super Mario Brothers movie from back in the 90s, those two are so
Classics.
terrible that they're actually awesome to
They're
watch. And they're so bad they're
no
good. That's what I feel
those
like that
movies.
they
No,
are.
no. Street Fighter movie is fantastic. Uh, and Raul
Jean-Claude
Julia
Van Damme,
fucking
Raul Julia.
nailed that guy. I just wish he was still alive today so he could because like honestly, I'm not even kidding. He was fucking awesome in that movie, and I want him back. uh,
He was the only character in that entire movie that actually fucking was
tried.
entertaining in that movie from beginning to end.
Yeah, like John Claude Van Damme didn't even like attempt to do an accent. Um,
Oh no,
yeah.
he just played John Claude Van
Which
Damme. It's that
honestly,
same
like you
character
you
in every
you
movie.
you give John Claude. It's like fuck, what's his name? The guy that plays the voice of Joel from Last of Us, Troy Baker.
Oh, Oh, Troy Baker.
It's
Okay.
like like he's like in every people complain sometimes when he's like in every video game he's in, not every but most games he's in, he just sounds like Troy Baker. It's like, well, yeah, you hire Troy Baker. Like a lot of people just
Mm-hmm.
want Troy Baker to play Troy, like, or you like imagine you pay all that money for Cyberpunk for fucking Keanu Reeves to show up in there. It's like, hey, we don't want you to look or sound anything like Keanu Reeves. Like, well, what the fuck are we doing? What
Eh.
am I doing here then? Why did you hire me? Uh, yeah, I actually like love that movie growing up as a kid. I watch that movie all the time. And even since like watched it like not too long ago, probably like the last 5 years. Street Fighter movie, and it is awesome. Um, it's there's like, I didn't realize there's like a Street Fighter 2 movie out there where what's the big green guy?
The big green
The
guy. You mean Blanca?
Blanca. Yeah, I don't fucking know Street Fighter games. Don't look at me like that, you son of a bitch. Uh, but he punched his wife's fetus.
I don't know. I've never
I
watched that
don't know.
movie, dude.
I just know like everybody always talks about the anime where like there's one of the women's like you could like she's like in the very sudsy shower. That's the only thing I know about it.
Oh,
Um,
oh yeah, that one.
yeah.
Huh. But anyway, when it regards to the live action movies and stuff, the thing I can think about is like not just a Street Fighter movie, but the one with Chun Li. Okay, that one. Remember that one coming out and stuff. But I'm just saying I don't have an extremely high standard when it comes to then another live action Street Fighter movie. I
No.
mean, it could be potentially good if they went through and focused upon a key storyline of the game, like one of the fighting games themselves. Like, say, let's have it revolve around if we revolved it around maybe like a prequel to the Street Fighter stuff, like say with Street Fighter Alpha's storyline, where it's just basically the whole thing with Shadaloo and stuff like that, with Bison and like Sagat and like friggin' Balrog and Vega and stuff. And like it just involves Guile's best friend Charlie dying or something like that, and just have it be a whole key point around something like that as a full live action thing. That'd be fine. But what I don't want it to be is kind of like a bastardized version of like a story thing from Street Fighter 3 because the whole branching story for like Street Fighter 3 is you have this one supreme being called Gil and he basically leads this like entire like cult or something like that with his younger brother and this and that and it pretty much like he wants to take over the world is like this and that and there's all sorts of different like new characters inside this type of stuff but I kind of don't want it to be that way because that would be very convoluted inside of his own way. I just kind of wanted to be like a fun action film, kind of similar to how, say, how Mortal Kombat did a number of years ago when they put out another live action
Yeah,
sort of movie and it
2021.
was
Yeah.
somewhat decent.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's exactly what I was gonna
I kind
say.
of wanted like that.
Like I was exactly what I was gonna say. Just have good fight choreography and just a plot to move things along. They have it good, just a plot. Like that's all the Mortal Kombat movie was. It's like we just got the thinnest.
That's the thing,
Like the
man. It's
script is like
like
6 inches long, or not 6 pages long, and then it's just like 80 minutes of fighting, and that's all I need.
what are fans of these series looking for? You know, it's like they want action.
Yeah,
They want fighting sequences. They want something that's
yeah. I
epic in
mean,
terms of
you do have to get the
battles.
people that like non-gaming fans in there. I get that, so you gotta give them
Uh-huh.
something to look forward to. As I was just looking up, like, cause I actually kind of liked the last Mortal Kombat movie that came out. Like, I'm not saying it's
Uh-huh.
fantastic, but I enjoyed it. I had a good time with it. It's like a 54 on Rotten Tomatoes. It was
Eh.
the 1995 version, which I love, but admittedly will not. I agree, it's not good. It's a 45. Um, that's fine. I'm cool with that. Like the stories in those games, those movies are not great, but like they're just like just make them just have a. I just want to have a good time. Make them 90 minutes. Have a good time. Let me get in, get out, and that's all I need.
Mm.
That's all I ask for. And like video game movies, like That's all I ask for. Don't do like I just don't trust. Is that Capcom? Street Fighter's Capcom, right?
Yeah, Street Fighter's
Yeah, I
Capcom.
just don't. Whoever was in charge of getting people to make the Resident Evil movies, um, even the last one, that movie was awful. That came out
Yeah.
last year. Uh, don't let them do that again.
Oh yeah.
uh,
No, no, no shit.
yeah, but
Especially Monster Hunter.
oh my god, I forgot about Monster Hunter. Oh my god, it's Capcom too. Holy shit, they're just bad at this. Gables, I would say have
Stick to making games. That's what I would
yeah, you're
say.
really good. Like you're at like an all-time peak in video gaming, but you're somehow worse now at making movies than you were 20 years ago, which is crazy because I watched those old Resident Evil movies, and Mortal Kombat Annihilation. Gibbles though, Final
Yes.
Fantasy Pixel Remasters finally coming to the Switch on April 19th.
Oh
You
yeah.
can pre-order these now. You can actually like, go on and like you can buy them all for like $70 if you buy like a physical version, or you can go pre-order them. They're anywhere between $12 and $18 on Switch right now. The pre-order,
Oh yeah.
um, it's 1 through 6. They have like new fonts because they've been on PC and mobile for a long time now, but everybody was really mad about the font. There's also some other technical issues. Um, but yeah, like so they've done a lot to fix up like some of the graphics, stuff like that. Like I said, the font is a big thing that's been be done. You can actually like I believe you can play the game in 4x speed, which is just I mean I that's how I played through Final Fantasy 7, the OG version last year, just in triple speed.
Hmm.
And I guess they've done some other things too to like make it like little other things easier to help fix with grinding and shit like that. So oh, you can boost it. Oh, you can boost experience points up to 4 times speed as well. So
Yes, you
there
can.
you go. And you can also go. You can. They have like modern day, like a remaster of the original soundtrack, or you can play listen to the old one too. So yeah, like I'm not the fan for this, but I know there's a lot of people out there been just waiting for this thing like to come out and also fix the old versions as well. So
Hmm.
I excited for this one, Gables.
Well, yeah, obviously I am excited for it because I've played over half of these games that are on these Pixel remasters. Granted, I played their ports in the Game Boy Advance, mind you, which, considering from some fans, actually are kind of the superior ones
Yeah,
because they added more quests and more type of things that people thoroughly enjoyed from those releases. I'm excited because if you buy physical and stuff, the $70 that they charge for this thing, it's actually more than worthwhile,
yeah.
considering that a lot of these games are considered to be some of the best like JRPGs of their era and from their generation, right? So it's
I
like,
think it's also a slight discount too if you do that.
oh, that's true too. Honestly, it's definitely worthwhile in my opinion because it's like the first six Final Fantasy games. I mean, granted, you're gonna have to deal with like a lot of like you're gonna deal like a lot of like jank in the regards to the first couple of ones because the first one's incredibly short. The second one does not have a traditional XP system. The third one is kind of like similar to, I mean, it's kind of like similar to some of the job class stuff. Actually, the third ones were job classing stuff kind of originated before they elaborated on it more in detail in five. But four, five, and six, I know for a fact, are excellent games. 4 and 6 with their story, with their gameplay, 5 with their expanded character classes and stuff. But my God, I'm very excited when that collection comes out. I don't even want to buy them individually. I kind of want to just buy them all in just one chunk and see if I can just get it physically because it just keeps continuing on for like the excellent kind of retro device the Nintendo Switch is. But yeah, having access to that on top of everything else, that would be like the icing on the cake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Gables, you also want to talk about the nice little eShop sale going on right now?
Oh, absolutely. So going on throughout this weekend, which is like from right now as we're recording here, like the 8th all the way up to like about I want to say middle of next week or whatsoever. There's like over 1,900 games available for sale on the Switch eShop. A couple of which may be expiring fairly soon. I'm talking about games that were like priced at 199 that could be potentially like a major like pickups for people if you haven't picked them up already. So I'm talking about games that like Inside and Limbo, both of them are like $1.99 a piece from what I saw in the eShop stuff. You have the Persona you have some of the Persona games, like Persona 3 Portable, Persona 4 Golden. That bundle is at least around $30. If you buy them individually, it's like 15.99 or something of that sort. Persona 5 Royal, the game that port that released last year, that's all the way down now to about 42. But when it comes to some of the other type of games, I mean, you've got like certain indie games too, like say Gato Roboto. That thing is up to about is down now to like about $1.99. Let's see. There's the Castlevania clone. That's almost like a Castlevania sort of inspired game called Wallachia or something like that. That's like about two something. But oh yeah, there was another indie game by the name of Minute, which that was like a cute little like game that some people really loved, really picked up and stuff. That one's also down to about $1.99. But those are just a few examples of games that are currently on sale throughout this huge initial spring sale that Nintendo is doing on the Switch's eShop. But there are plenty more stuff. I'm talking about games that are discounted from like the Atelier like series. I mean, Assassin's Creed
Ezio.
games on there. The Ezio collection, that's $20. Man, that's true. But yeah, it's almost like a little bit of everything on this thing. So I would suggest if you have like some cash or something like that on the eShop that you've saved up for a little bit, happen to go up on there because you're possibly gonna go into maybe picking up a couple games that could be fantastic for dirt cheap. I mean, hey, some of them are as low as $10, some of them as low as $2.
Yeah,
I mean, hey, you just gotta search high and low inside this stuff.
yeah. I was also looking up PlayStation because they have a spring sale going on right now. Got a
Yes,
good
they do.
collection going here. You can get NBA 2K23 for $15. Um,
Yep,
they have Destiny, the new expansion, Lightfall, $34. Uh,
yep,
Last of Us Part One for $50. You can get Dead
yes,
Space. I think it's $50 here. Horizon Forbidden West for $30. Uh, Gotham
yep.
Knights Gables, $28. Spider-Man Miles Morales, 28. Um, what was some other ones here? We got Final Fantasy 7 Reunion for $40. Marvel's
Hmm.
Midnight Suns for 35. So yeah, like a lot of good sales going on right now. Like Sifu here for $24. My God, what a great sale here. My God. Oh man. Goat Simulator 3, $23. The Quarry for $30. My God.
There you
Great
go.
game. Great game here. Mortal Kombat 11, only $10. My God. Okay. I need to get away. I need to get off this thing before I start spending money. Um,
Oh, the last one I will say in terms of PlayStation sales, Mortal Kombat XL, $5. I'll tell you this
Good
right
game.
now. If you want to get a good fighting game, definitely buy this one because it'll include all the DLC for it.
Yeah. All right. Well, Gables, let's move on to what we've been playing. Do you want to go first, or you
Okay.
want me to go first?
Let's have you go first this time.
Alrighty. So I played an older game. I started playing this last weekend. Um, I started playing a replay through an older game. I played it at launch. Um, Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. Um,
Okay.
so like yeah. So like I played this game. If you've been a long time listener or a new listener, I played it way back when it first launched in November 2019. And being one of my most disappointing games of the year. Part of that had to do with the fact it was just, I mean, it was not done. It needed more time. It was incredibly buggy, all kinds of issues, drops, getting stuck in stuff, like all the. I'm not saying it's like cyberpunk issues, but like definitely, just a, a con- what the fuck's the word I want to say here? Compounding amount of bugs and just technical hiccups all the way through. That was very frustrating to me. Um,
Hmm.
but I always liked the story. I thought it was a really good story. I loved the stuff going on with the sisters, with the second and ninth sister, especially the second sister. I don't want to spoil anything because the sequel is coming out in a couple weeks here, and I was like, I played the game. I remember just kind of playing it to play it at that point because I was so frustrated by the gameplay itself. Because it was my biggest complaint with that game when it came out was like it felt like they just played a bunch of other games and they just like, what if we just combine this all together and make a Star Wars game out of it?
Right.
And I played through it. I beat it. I finished through it today. I just kind of mainlined it a little. Actually, I think I probably did way more side stuff in this game than I did the first time around. I think the first time I really just mainlined it. Um, but it's still very much Gables. Almost 4 years later. I don't. I mean, take the bugs out of it. kind of feel the exact same way. Um, where it is like they played Uncharted 4, Metroidvania games, and Dark Souls, and it's like, what if we just make like that game, but like 8 out of 10? And this is what that game is. Like, I'm not trying to say it's a bad game, but it is a very solid 8 out of 10. Just but from a huge AAA, this is Respawn, this is Star Wars, this is EA putting out a game, and you expect way more out of it than what it was and what it is. I played through it again. I played it initially on PS4, and then I replayed because it's on Game Pass. Um, I was like, do I
Yes.
just do game? Do I just do New Game Plus? And I'm like, I'll just fuck it. I'll just play it on Xbox. I'm like, I'll get some achievements out of it too, whatever. And I wanted to kind of give myself a little bit because sometimes playing New Game Plus isn't the most fun thing to do. Um, so I just did that. Um, yeah, I feel like it definitely feels like a game because like there's so much sliding in this game, especially like sliding through mud, which if you played Uncharted 4 in 2016, that was like a big thing they did in that
Mm.
game. It was really cool back then. It's like this is 3 years later. It's like okay, it's like this is a Star Wars game, but yeah, like I said, it just feels like they did their best to make a bunch of different games compiled together into a Star Wars game, and I think they nailed the storyline. So I think the story is actually really good. I love like stuff like going with Siri, uh, Cal Kestis. I actually like him more now originally. Trilla is awesome. Greasy Money, that's my boy. Love that guy. Um, but yeah, like I can't wait from like I'm higher on it than when I now than I was then. Um, but yeah, like I don't know, it was fine. Like the gameplay, like it just the best way I can describe everything is it just feels floaty. Like
Float, yeah.
like sometimes when you play a shooter game and you're hitting somebody, but it doesn't feel like you're hitting somebody.
Yeah.
Like that's how it feels. Like it feels like nothing is hitting, nothing's connecting, but like it's not bad. It's just like it's like going from like playing like a playing like a top tier like a Call of Duty or a Gears of War or like a Destiny or like top notch like shooter game, and then just playing like a run of the mill 7 out of 10 shooter game, and it just doesn't feel the
Right.
same. Doesn't feel right, and that's kind of how I feel playing through that game. Um, but Gables, I'm really upset with myself now. Um,
It won.
so after Rise of the Skywalker in 2019, I swore myself off from Star Wars after being a lifelong fan. Because Rise of Skywalker just broke me. Um,
Mm.
that movie's offensively bad. It's terrible. Everybody that helped write that script, that directed that movie, I'm not blaming the producers, the makeup people, or even the actors. Mostly the director. Fuck you. All right.
Mm.
Fuck you. You're a piece of shit, and I hate you. Somehow Palpatine has returned. Fuck off. Um, I'm not doing it again. Not doing it again. Okay, take it back down a level. Take it back down a level. After swearing off, Star Wars for a very long time, I'm thinking I'm back. I'm back.
Nah.
I started watching Andor this weekend, Gables. It's so goddamn good. How we fuck up everything else? Obi-Wan, trash. That show sucks. And I don't even blame the actors. What the fuck are we doing here with that? Mando, mid. At least season one. I haven't watched the rest. Season one, mid. Um, like I said, Rise of Skywalker, fuck off. Fallen Order, mid. But Andor is so fucking good, Gables. And it's to the point now where like there's the two anime shows out there, Clone Wars and Rebels.
Mm.
I googled important episodes to watch so I can skip all the filler episodes. So I'm gonna start doing
Mm.
that here soon. I'm gonna start watching Clone Wars.
You might as well, dude, because isn't Andor the character that stars
No,
inside of the Clone Wars one?
no, he's from Rogue One. Uh,
Okay.
Ahsoka. I don't know how to pronounce it. She's the one that just they announced the new TV show. She is
Okay.
from Clone Wars and Rebels. So that's part of the reason why I'm
Okay.
doing this. So announce all that shit. I'm actually like the then like I already started replaying through it, and then the Jedi Survivor previews dropped um on I think Monday or Tuesday, and I watched some stuff on that, and it just looks so fucking good, Gables. God damn it, God damn it, God damn it. I hate myself for this. I'm gonna like I.
And then pops Lizzo and Jack Black. Oh God.
I hate you so much right now, Gables. This whole episode, you just pissed me off with the Red Hot Chili Pepper shit, and now the Lizzo Jack Black reference.
Oh my God. Oh, it's the only thing that I could actually just see like thumbnails on throughout the
Yeah,
Mandalorian, like season 3.
it's funny because I go out of my way, even though I've been so out on Star Wars, I go out of my way to
Yeah,
avoid spoilers for this shit because I'm like, just in
yeah,
case. That
yeah,
one, that shit was just unavoidable. Um,
yeah. Unfortunately, it was.
my God, what? Maybe I should get back out now before I get to that episode because eventually I'm going to go. I'm going to go. I'm not looking forward to the day I'm going to go and watch Book of Boba Fett because that looks atrocious.
Right.
Because then now eventually it's me watching Mando. Um, God damn it! Why can't they just be bad? Just keep being bad. Why you got to be kind of cool again? And then Andor's so good. How do we do it? Like how? You fuck up the important shit. You fuck up the Jedi's. You fuck up the Skywalker shit. But somehow you do this. The side shit is cool. Andor.
Oh boy.
We already know. Like this is a prequel to the Rogue One stuff. So I already know
Yeah.
what happens with this character. But you fucking you're nailing Andor? Really? Really? And if Justin's here, right? If Justin hears me now or later, I'm never gonna hear the end of this fucking shit. Because that son of a bitch defends everything goddamn Star Wars. And it drives me up the goddamn wall. Up the goddamn for 20 fucking years. I've been arguing about the fucking goddamn prequels with him. That son of a bitch. That son of a I fucking hate him. My best friend. I hate you. You son of a bitch. I love you. I hate you. But I love you. But I hate you. Um anyways. I'm playing Fallen Order. That was about Fallen Order by the way. I'm back in Star Wars, and I hate myself for it, Gables. I can't believe it. I can't believe I'm back in, and I'm pissed off about it. I'm not happy about it.
Oh,
But Andor is so goddamn good. It did it. But Gables, what have you been playing?
well, good.
It's not good, Gables.
All right. At least you're enjoying some portions of it. I mean, come
Yeah,
on.
that's true. Andor is so good.
But like you, I have also been playing some older games and stuff. Some comfort games, playing a little bit of New Super Mario Bros. U, playing a little bit of Mario 64 or something like that on the Switch Online stuff.
Uh-huh.
Well, that's the reason I just had a hankering just to play a little bit of Mario. I mean, that's just how I am with some aspects to where I really wanted to play Super Mario Bros. U. So yeah, I got through, continued back to where I left off previously. I've gone the first 4 worlds and stuff completed, getting all the coins and all the other stuff. Going to like Soda Pop Jungle and stuff, and going to a lot of the poison theme levels and stuff. That's where I left off of. As for like the Mario 64 stuff, I've been watching Maximilian Dude just try to play Super Mario 64 for the first time, and it's really fucking hysterical. Especially so, the stuff that really made me laugh was when he finally got to the snow world for the first time, right? And in Mario 64, the snow world stuff, you have the cottage, you have the baby penguin, you have this and that. Oh my god, the amount of times I saw him just mostly like just like fail epically over like overthinking certain aspects of it. Oh my gosh. It was just hysterical, dude. Like he would take the baby penguin, he would try to find out like ways he can go and like get down the hill and stuff like that to get to the mother penguin. He tried going on the bridge, do that warp trick or something. Cause in on the beginning portion of that stage in Mario 64, you go to the right and there's like this broken bridge, you stand at the corner of it, it's supposed to warp you down to the bottom of like the other like broken bridge or something, and you can get like the coins and other aspects that way. No, what does he do? He grabs the baby penguin, right? He tries to edge himself down, then he completely slides off. He keeps sliding off like the freaking cliff and like just falling down the freaking pit. At one point, he had the baby penguin with some. He was like really close to it, like right, and he accidentally drops the baby penguin over the edge and
Jesus
stuff, and then
Christ.
all of a sudden he just goes over the edge with Mario as well. It's like, but no, I'll tell you what, the main game that I was testing out and playing, that was an older game, is something I've been having a subtle interest in playing, and that was trying to get into Mortal Kombat. Now, that's big for me because I don't generally play too much Mortal Kombat stuff at all. I mean, I've been an outsider looking in, people play the games, this and that. I decided to download Mortal Kombat X. And so what I ended up doing, downloaded X, I wanted to try to play a little bit of the game and stuff. So I just decided, okay, let's just pick Scorpion. Let's just go for it. Let's just play a little bit of it and stuff and see what ends up happening. So I did a couple experimental matches, kind of get myself a good feeling of it. I go to the first player stuff, and you see these modes and stuff like represent the different towers. Like there's the classic one where you basically fight off against like ten opponents and stuff, and then that's like a traditional sort of like arcade mode style. Then you have one where it's like an endless mode. Then you have another one that has all these gimmicks and stuff. I'll tell you what, man, these gimmicks are absolute bullshit. Because there'll be some that will have, okay, you have extra armor, or you regenerate health, or and they keep stacking on more gimmick after more gimmicks after more gimmicks in each round until finally you're on the last stage of it, and there's like about 6 or 7 gimmicks or something like that inside of this one match. And so sometimes the fights will last maybe like a few seconds. Sometimes they'll last about like 3 to 5 minutes because of how crazy this is. But one of the modes I had enjoyed, it was something similar to like the classic Mortal Kombat games. You like as your show of strength. Like basically you have to mash the buttons in order to try to crack and stuff like that, break the cement blocks and all of this stuff. Oh my god. This almost broke me. And I'll tell you why. It's because they want you to go and do kind of like how you did back in the day. You had the face buttons, right? The face buttons are what you had to mash on in order to try to get it to the extent to where you get it precisely to break the slabs. Oh boy, they do this for around maybe like 8 to 10 times that you need to do this, right? Each time it gets getting harder and harder and harder. Like I think I failed like a handful of times and stuff, but the last one was so much bullshit because I'm literally having to pace and just try to mash the buttons with my thumbs, and I'm holding my controller, right? Okay, this is my Switch here, right? So it's like I'm holding my controller like this sideways, putting my freaking my hands, my thumbs on both fingers, and I'm just mashing like crazy up until I finally get the matching circles and stuff. And I'm actually excited to say I did pass that damn mode. It was a pain in the ass, but it was actually super fun to go and get all that like straight away and stuff. Oh, what I have gotten through from playing Mortal Kombat so far, that's Mortal Kombat X, it actually is pretty damn fun. It's pretty fluid. It's taken a little bit to get used to the whole routines of certain button combinations that'll go and execute Scorpion's moves. The fatality stuff's pretty fun. I mean, not gonna lie about it. From someone that's relatively new to Mortal Kombat, it's definitely takes some time to get used to. But at the same time, I know there's some fun ass characters inside this game. Many consider like this particular Mortal Kombat to be pretty damn good in comparison to some of the original ones, especially like 2 and then 3 Ultimate and stuff like that. The Mortal Kombat trilogy stuff. But yeah, that's pretty much what I've been playing this week.
All right. Well, very cool, Cables. Um, well, I think that might actually do it for us this week, guys.
Wow.
If you guys liked that, please like, follow, subscribe. If you got any tips on what I could do to get Taylor Swift's um, attention out there. Maybe give myself a shot. Let me know. I am a desperate man. Um, don't tell her about the fact I'm back into Star Wars though. I think that might hurt my chances. Um, but yeah, other than that, thank you guys so much for listening. If you like all that, please like, follow, subscribe. Look in that description down below. Links to all of our socials, YouTube, Apple Podcast, Spotify, Extra Life. Please check all those out. Really would appreciate it if you did all that. But I was your host. I was Tyler.
I'm Colonel Gables. Till next time, everyone. Thank you for listening to another fun-filled episode of the Drunk Dash Nerds podcast.
And hey, Gables.
Yeah.
Haters gonna hate.
I'm just gonna shake.
God damn it, right, Gables? Yeah, that's what we're gonna do. I'm so fucking proud. Oh my god. Love you guys.
My
Bye.
God, at least make you happy once this podcast.
Yeah. Woo. Fucking right. Bye, guys.
See ya.